You broke up with the previous guy that you know is not good for you, and you promise yourself that next time I'm going to find someone different, someone who actually is good for me. A few months later, you only realize you are repeating the same pattern. It's like you're dating the exact same person, but in a different body, and you get frustrated, wondering, what is wrong with me? Well, there's nothing wrong with you. It's actually your nervous system choosing what is familiar instead of what is good for you. In this video, we are going to talk about why this happens and what it takes to actually break the cycle. First, let's talk about patterns that you might recognize in yourself or those around you. The first common type is those who are seeking the emotionally unavailable partners. And you will realize these people really want to find someone who is actually emotionally available to them, who actually attend to their feelings and needs, and end up to be the same kind of person who doesn't know empathy, doesn't know how to emotionally support you, because they're emotionally not aware themselves. And the second common type is people who are always the giver, the caretaker in a relationship. These people always wondering, why is it that in my life, everyone else can come to me and tell me about what is happening in their life and vent to me, and I'll listen, give them suggestion and support them the best way I can. However, when something happened to me, I have no one to go to. I might talk to them, but they can't really give me anything. The relationship becomes very uneven. It's like they're taking care of an adult child who is actually their partner. The third type are the not quite good enough type. These are actually the type I see a lot in my friends. A lot of my friends telling me about, well, this guy seems okay, but they never seem to be good enough for me. They tend to think the partner is fine when they first start to date someone. But as time goes by, you start to see the not so nice part, the flaws in your partner, as inevitably we all have flaws. They start to get frustrated and then want to find someone who's perfect. But as we all know, perfect does not exist in this world. And the last pattern, I see a lot of my clinical work working with clients, especially those with very intense trauma in childhood, is that these people tend to attract to people who are unstable, who are inconsistent. And a lot of time you will hear them describe the partner first show up as very charismatic, very extroverted, easy to talk to, and is a good friend to everyone. But later, as you start to date a person, actually get to know about them, you start to realize they're inconsistent, they are dishonest. The beautiful, charismatic, high emotional intelligence is just on the outside. In the inside, when you actually get to know about them, their true color is very volatile, very unstable. And these are the people who know they want someone who is more secure, who's more stable. You're looking for a long-term relationship, not a short-term one. However, it just happens that you always get attracted to the unstable guys, even though you're looking for a stable relationship. So these are the four types I see a lot in my family, in my friends, and when I work with clients. Your story might be a little bit different from all four of those, or it might be a combination of the four of those. But a common denominator across all the relationship is actually you. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you are operating from a template. This template is actually our unconscious mind joined to things and people that are familiar to us instead of what's actually good for us. And that is the reason why you are repeating the same pattern, because there is an inconsistency between your unconscious mind's template and your conscious mind know what is actually good for me. Our nervous system believe what is familiar is known, and the known is always safer than unknown. Think about it. If you are stepping in the room and don't know what's going to happen, it's giving you a lot of anxiety. Their study shows that people are going to choose that I know something bad is going to happen, rather than I don't know what is going to happen. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be worse, it can be easier than the thing I know is going to happen. But because the fear of unknown is so big, so we tend to just go and pick the familiarity. Familiarity is safe for us because we have experienced that before. We know how to handle it. Even though familiarity a lot of time means it's not great for us, and even though we know we are not going to feel great in a relationship, but our nervous system still think familiar is good for us. This is why if you grow up in a household where love is conditional, your parents unstable, unpredictable, you tend to pick the kind of partner who are like your parents, who give you conditional love, who are also unpredictable. And this is also the reason why, even though you might want to seek a partner who is stable, But a stable partner seems a little bit too boring because they lack the familiarity of what you see in your parents. That's why there's a mismatch. That's why you tend to stick with the partner that your nervous system thinks is good for you, but you know it's not good for you. So where does this unconscious template come from? It comes from your childhood, from your relationship with your caregiver. And for most of us, that's our parents. And now, if you are a high achiever, a perfectionist, a type A personality, then a lot of time you tend to have parents who give conditional love, who are strict. They show you love when you are doing what they want, when you're being a straight A student, when you're listening to them. However, as soon as you make any kind of mistake, they tend to criticize you. This creates a template very early in your mind that love equals efforts earned. I have to constantly earn to deserve being loved by my parents. And it carries on in adulthood. It becomes I have to prove that I'm good enough so that my partner will love me back. Or it can be I'm switching into my parents' role. I want to find someone who is willing to listen to me, who is willing to prove their worth constantly. So I actually would feel that they are good enough for me. The bottom line is your nervous system is not going to ask, is this good for me? It is going to ask, does it match the template that I know? Is this thing familiar to me? And it will keep steering towards those partner and the relationship pattern that's similar to the original template, even though it will hurt you. And in a lot of us, we have the insight. We actually understand why this is happening. We can connect it back to the childhood, but somehow we still can't break the pattern. This is because of the implicit memory and priming effect. Implicit memories are memory that you cannot consciously recall. If you never heard of priming means when there is an early experience, it's going to shape your experience later in an unconscious way. Priming effects looks like, say, you've seen a lot of Kit Kat commercial recently. So next time you go into a grocery store, you see a bunch of candy, you are way more likely to pick up Kit Kat than the other candies. Why is that? It's because Kit Kat is being primed in your brain. Repetitively seeing this commercial, even though sometimes you hate it, means that your brain is feeling this is familiar and it starts to get into your brain's implicit memory. The unconscious memory is prompting you to pick up Kit Kat, even before your conscious mind is able to say no. And this is exactly the same as relationship. Researchers discovered that earliest priming effect started when we are a fetus in mom's womb during the third trimester. So as you can see, this familiarity is really sticky, and that is why you are choosing the same wrong partner. Now we understand why we are choosing the wrong person even though we know they are not good for us. Let's talk about how to actually break the cycle. So the first thing I invite you to do is actually make a list of the pattern that you've seen in your past relationship. Specifically, what are the first things you like about these people when you first see them? And what are the positive and negative qualities they have? So now you know this is your template. This is something that your unconscious mind is drawn to. When you understand your template, it's easier for us to observe it, catch it, and then break the pattern. Now, after you have this template, step 2, you're going to recreate a template that's actually good for you. This is a new storyline. These are the people who actually have the positive quality that makes the relationship work, that help you to get into a secure, stable, long-term relationship. Write down 3 to 5 qualities that you want to see in your future partner. And these qualities are not going to be external. It's not going to be like they make 6-figure, they have 6-pack, 6 feet tall. Because we know these are superficial things. It's actually going to be something like they're honest, they care about me, they support my growth, and they have a growth mindset. Things like that are actually the good quality that you need to look for in the good partner in a stable relationship. The reason we narrow it down to 3 to 5 value inequality is to prevent those people who constantly feel like their partner is not good enough for them. If you come up with a list of 100 items, who on earth is going to match that? That's just simply not realistic. But the 3 to 5 is core quality that you know is non-negotiable. Everything else is compromisable. It's life. A part of healthy relationship is making compromise. And step 3, you are going to learn to tolerate the uncomfortable, the mismatch between the template you build in step 2 and the template you already have in step 1. For someone who is very anxious, constantly worried about whether their partner loved them or not, instead of constantly asking for reassurance, you're going to sit with this feeling. You're going to learn to tolerate it yourself. Even though you have the urge to pick up your phone and check in with your partner, where are you? What are you doing? You simply choose to put your phone down and then do something else to ground yourself, and vice versa. If you're someone who tends to be very avoidant, who really wants to keep a space, doesn't want to get close to anyone, then you are going to try to stay with your partner a little bit longer and to tolerate that feeling, that internal urge to push the person away. Doing that, you are strengthening your nervous system. You're reorienting it towards a healthier way of building connection. And because your brain is plastic, you'll realize the more you train yourself, the more likely it is for you to choose the second template, the one that you actually want, that is actually good for you. In step 4, while you are trying to make all these unconscious patterns conscious, trying to retrain yourself, you are also going to go back to the wounded child that creates the first template, that creates the familiarity that is not good for you. This will be the inner child work. You will understand, where does this template come from? What is lacking in this original template? Why do I feel like I need to take care of my partner? In your mind, you can go back to that child. And then as an adult right now, you can take care of the needs of the child. So they no longer feel they have to come out and then push you to choose what they need. Because once you, as an adult, are able to take care of the younger self's need, then the younger self no longer needs to act out. Then you will be more grounded in your own body, in your own conscious mind, and more likely to choose template number 2. I'm also linking a video here. This is an inner child work that I recorded for you. It is a guided practice and powerful experience where you are going to meet with your inner child and understand where the template number 1 comes from, and learn to calm that inner child that learned love is conditional or love is unstable. You are going to reparent that younger child so it has another chance to grow up with you to choose the relationship that's actually healthy. If there's one thing that you want to take away from this video, I want you to understand that you are not a problem. The template is a problem. And you're trying to understand the template and get help for the template instead of yourself. You are not broken. You still have the capability to rebuild a template that actually serves you, not a template that's driven by your unconscious mind. And I've listed all these things that you need to do to make it work. You just need to trust the process and do the work. I genuinely believe every one of us deserve a healthy relationship, and we can work towards a healthy relationship. No one grew up with perfect parent. There's always going to be work, and you have the choice to do the work or not. I also want to know, what is the pattern that you kept repeating, that you observe in your relationship? And what are actually the quality that you are looking for in a healthy relationship? Leave a comment, tell me about it. If you like today's content, like, subscribe is the best way to support me so that you don't miss the next content. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.